A presentation by Group 3, Employment Interviews. How your appearance can communicate more than you think.
The purpose of this presentation is to equip this group with tools to sharpen interviewing skills, to encourage the development of confidence built via practice and application of skills, and to educate in some of the intricacies of the perception process and the relationship it has on our looks, performance, speech, and movements, and how they're viewed and influence interviewers. In this presentation, the group will be given insight on how to read nonverbal communication cues, and then understand the roles they can serve as both a transmitter or detractor of confidence and motivation, from the interviewer to the applicant and vice versa, so that the vital skill of impression management can be mastered. Next, we'll discuss what some highly effective practices are for making a first impression, and what some of the practices are that will create unfavorable outcomes for the applicant. And then finally, we will discuss what effective attire consists of for a job interview as a business manager.
Let's start by focusing on first impressions. First impressions are an integral part to human interactions. Philosophers and scientists have long discussed the idea that the face is a window to the internal traits. We make judgments of character based on appearance daily, and this can happen both consciously and subconsciously. Some explanations for this phenomenon include the attractiveness stereotype, self-fulfilling prophecies, or the good genes hypothesis from evolutionary psychology. But while there are explanations, there have been mixed findings regarding the accuracy of such snap judgments. Did you know it only takes 3 to 5 seconds for someone to form a first impression of you? Here are some tips for creating a positive first impression. Tip 1. Analyze your attire. Clothes must be appropriate, and the clothes you choose to wear will speak volumes about not only your sense of style, but will also project and communicate a personal image, culture, and a class status, all of which will affect that first impression another makes of you. Tip 2. Role play your verbal communication. Pay attention and focus to how you speak. Do you talk too fast? Do you pronunciate? Do you speak clearly? How's your vocabulary? Do you sound qualified, educated, and professional? Do you sound confident? Can you sell yourself? Tip 3. Evaluate your nonverbal communication. Also take some time to focus on your body language, your posture. Notice how much eye contact you make while speaking to others. You should always go in for that first strong handshake, because you are being judged and analyzed from the moment that you walk into the door, so making a good first impression is going to start right away within your nonverbal cues and this first presentation of yourself. Tip 4. Examine your attitude. Make it a point to smile frequently and to seem friendly and personable. Also make sure that you are in the present and giving your full attention. A trained job interviewer is going to know if you are distracted, disinterested, or bored, as well as notice how real or authentic you are being. While it is important to be professional and kind and show that you understand what it means to be a professional, it is also important to bring forth that best version of yourself, because a job interviewer will more than likely sense if you are being phony or only putting on an act. And finally, don't forget to groom. Your hygiene is so important, so make sure that you're walking in cleaned up, clean shaven, and trimmed up. Your hair is brushed and styled. Your clothes are clean and pressed, wrinkle and stain free. Show that you care about yourself and value yourself, so they will value you too. How well you take care of yourself will communicate a great deal to a job interviewer, including what kind of employee you may be and how well you have the ability to perform. So when interviewing, think of yourself as an open book. You'll be judged by your cover, so make sure your overall image conveys and communicates the accurate perception of you. So why is being well-groomed so vital to first impressions? Well, a study conducted by Willis and Tadra found that first impressions are made after a mere tenth of a second exposure to a face. Also in this study, 42 raters answered a questionnaire on a series of 70 faces shown, presented as standardized photographs and neutral expressions, and the results showed that judgment is made on attractiveness, likability, trustworthiness, competence, and aggressiveness. The goal of landing a job is to show that you are trustworthy, confident, and the right person for the job. So if you look the part, then at least you can start off on the right foot. So while interviewing, always note that your clothes, your manners, and your mannerisms are all going to be on display. And within that first 60 seconds, your self-confidence and your ability to present yourself are also already being assessed. So don't let your appearance hinder your capability to accurately promote yourself, your skills and abilities, and your job capabilities.
Nonverbal cues in an interview are necessary, but these abilities and factors alone do not ensure success. Applicants must also demonstrate their knowledge of relevant information about the job, be able to adapt to the interviewer, and be able to express themselves in a clear manner. So looking at and understanding an interviewer's nonverbals are important because if they're positive, the interviewer might continually show satisfaction and approval of you by using nonverbal cues, such as smiling, head nods, eye contact, and gestures. This can allow for more favorable nonverbal behaviors to emerge from you because they might make you feel more relaxed and motivated. But if the nonverbals are negative, the interviewer who displays disapproval through nonverbal behaviors, such as frowns, head shakes, little bit of eye contact, few gestures, might leave you feeling a little bit more tense and less confident, which may lead you to display less positive nonverbals behaviors. So be aware your interviewer's nonverbals might be unsettling, but be prepared for the interview before it starts. It's your best tool and not getting knocked off your strategy going in. Studies found interviewers prefer applicants who show high nonverbal behavior. In these studies, using actors, they created high and low energy nonverbal applicants by controlling the levels of applicant gestures, eye contact, body movements, smiles, speech disturbance, vocal expression or affect, and voice modulation. 89% of the applicants with high-level energy displayed in their nonverbals were invited back for a second interview. These applicants maintained steady eye contact. They demonstrated a high energy level by smiling, using hand gestures, and general body movement. They varied their voice modulation to express appropriate affect and responded to interviewer questions with little hesitation and fluidity. 100% of the applicants with low energy level displayed in their nonverbals were not invited back. These applicants avoided eye contact, had low energy level, displayed little or no affect, and spoke in a non-fluent manner. So we have talked a lot about nonverbal communication and its impact on the hiring process. And because this is such an important part of how you present to the interviewer, understanding which nonverbal cues are the most vital warrants special attention. Research has shown the most reliable nonverbal indicator of success or failure in job interviews was eye behavior. Smiling is also very good. Just don't look like a lunatic. Next comes head movement. Head movement comes in the form of affirmative nodding, where, as we're listening and we're listening to what someone's saying, we're nodding our head in agreement. Paralanguage or vocal cues is how we use our voice modulation to express appropriate affect, such as variations in pitch, rate, or substantial volume moderation. Expressive behaviors, they consist of things such as sitting in an upright attentive position or directing body orientation, like shifting in a chair to face the person you're talking to. Awareness of our physical proximity is important, as is maintaining an open posture, using illustrative gestures, making sure that we're not talking too much with our hands, but we're able to use gestures that let people know we're paying attention. And finally, fluency, that's being able to have little to no hesitation and responding to an interviewer's questions.
Your appearance is your first impression to the interviewer, even before you speak. Ensuring that you arrive with appropriate clothing is a vital first impression. For men, that's a suit jacket and matching slacks with a shirt and tie, or for a more casual second interview, a sweater and a button-down. For women, that's a blouse and dress pants or a dress. You will also want your hair to be professional and polished just like your attire. If you wear makeup, don't overdo it. It should be professional and not distracting to the interviewer. Not just what you wear is important, but how you wear it is important as well. Ill-fitting clothes will show a lack of polish, and constantly adjusting or fidgeting with your clothes will make you appear nervous or less confident. Also, make sure you've taken time to thoroughly iron or press your clothes. Wrinkled clothes show a total lack of preparation and lack of attention to detail. Your visual appearance is not the only important aspect. Make sure you've also got fresh breath. You'll be talking a lot. And don't eat after brushing your teeth. If you decide to chew gum to freshen your breath, make sure you throw it away before the interview. If you're a smoker, do not smoke before the interview, even if you think it'll calm your nerves. You may not notice it, but the smoke will cling to you and will be noticed when you arrive at your interview. Also, don't wear cologne or perfume. You don't want to come off as overpowering, or worse yet, cause an allergic reaction. Your overall appearance and dress at your interview will continue to shape how you're evaluated at this company even after you've passed your interview and begin working. Researchers have found that the initial perception of the individual affects subsequent ratings of the individual's performance within a task-oriented situation. If you're perceived as having a lack of attention to detail in your interview, your evaluators will continue to be predisposed to that perception even after you've started work.
In summary, as we discussed how your appearance can communicate more than you think, in considering first impressions, ask yourself, do you sound qualified, educated, and professional? Do you sound competent? Can you sell yourself? Next, we discussed the importance of being well groomed. How you look and smell, it matters. Don't let your appearance hinder your capability to accurately promote yourself, your skills, abilities, and job capabilities. Next, we covered the effect an interviewer's nonverbal cues can have. Since interviewers can show satisfaction and approval or disapproval through their nonverbal behaviors, remember, it's your interview, so be aware of the impact they can have on your feelings of relaxation and motivation or tension and self-doubt. If you enter the interview with confidence and a strategy, stick to that if the interviewer is putting out negative nonverbals. It's your interview. Next, we covered the effect your nonverbal communication can have on hiring decisions. And specifically, we identified that 89% of applicants with high energy level displayed in their nonverbals were invited back for a second interview, where 100% of applicants with low energy level displayed in their nonverbals were not. We talked about the most vital nonverbal cues, being eye behavior is the best indicator of success or failure in job interviews, followed closely by smiling. And then finally, we talked about attire. And we discussed what to wear during your interview. And we also spoke about how to wear your attire so you impress your interviewer. So if you practice these tips and do some of these strategies, I think you'll find you'll have great success in your next interview. Good luck.